In this episode of Two Tall Guys Talking Sales, Kevin Lawson and Sean O'Shaughnessey reveal how to turn pipeline review meetings from dreaded interrogations into powerful problem-solving sessions. You'll hear why focusing on the deals that truly need help and coming prepared with a clear next step can transform both sales management efficiency and revenue generation results. They'll also share how relationship mapping, from CEO to CEO and CFO to CFO, accelerates value selling and moves your biggest opportunities forward. Stay tuned to discover practical sales strategies you can put to work before your next pipeline meeting.
Don't you hate pipeline reviews? Don't you hate it when you're sitting there and you're sweating, you're a salesperson, you're sweating, you know you're the next one up because the guy always goes in alphabetical order and your boss is going to go, okay, Jerry, now Kate, now Larry, now Sam, and you're a T, you're Tom. Don't you hate it? You know you're next, right? So you have to get up there. You probably don't have enough pipeline to cover all your quota, or at least there's 3 or 4 that are holes. So let's talk about how to make that less stressful for the salesperson, more productive for the sales manager, if you're a sales manager listening to this. But let's just talk about it. First of all, let's just start off with the 3 that you know that they're holes. You don't have all the information for that deal. It's not perfect. I would start with those. I would literally just say, look, all the other ones, I'm pretty good, right? We can talk about them if you want to, Mr. Boss, Mrs. Boss, but I'm pretty good. But these 3, I need help. I'd really like your advice on these. I'd really like you to help me out because on this one, I'm struggling to get to the economic buyer. I know the person that everybody keeps pointing to is supposedly the economic buyer, but I don't see any evidence that person controls the budget. And I'm struggling getting there. Can we talk about that? How do I navigate that? How do I figure out who it is? And then everybody in the team can help you. And wouldn't it be nice to get helped in a pipeline review meeting as opposed to, you don't know the economic buyer. Get your ass out there and go work on it. That's not fun. So let's make it so that it doesn't suck. So bring up the ones that hurt. Bring up the ones that you need help at. Bring up the ones you're challenged at. Those are the ones you should talk to in your pipeline review meeting. And if you're a sales manager listening, that's really the ones you want to focus on. Sure, you can do the preemptory, I need to know about the deals that are closed in the next 30 days because I have to do my forecast. I have to make sure my forecast is right. But then just say, are we on track on this one? Are we on track on that one? John, track on that one. You can knock those out really quick. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to do that. They said they were going to do the other thing. Just go through those really quick and be done. Don't dig through the entire deal because just make sure that they're doing their actions that they committed to, both from the salesperson side and the sales manager side. Those are easy. Spend the time on the ones that need help and offer suggestions, offer ways to improve it, and understand, because you should still remember when you were a salesperson, that sometimes you just don't know yet. You're trying to figure out how to break into that account. And so be empathetic with that salesperson that needs some help and encourage the salespeople to say, help me with this deal, and have your sales pipeline review meeting. Let's talk about that. Kevin, any thoughts?
Yeah, I like that approach to, hey, let's not make pipeline reviews suck. So the accountability first. So we have to make a few assumptions. Number 1, salespeople, you must be prepared for the sales meeting, which means just here's your checklist. So if you're driving, don't write this down, but if you're sitting down, write this down. You must know the current status. You must have, your notes must be current on what you need, what level of qualification you have, and what the next step or activity or qualification stage is. You must know that about every one of your deals. If you don't, I bet most of your sales meetings currently start out with you saying, I need to get a meeting with so-and-so. That is a telltale sign that you are not prepared. So write down on your page in big, bold letters, do not start my deal review with, I need to get a meeting with. That is a performance review ready statement. So number 1, salespeople, be ready. Number 2, sales leaders, be current. Know the deal flow. Don't ask how many deals were created last week. You should know that already. It should be in your CRM because your sales team is being diligent about keeping their data up to date. So data. Sales teams can make a difference. Sales teams can be more productive and better when data is available. The other part is it's got to be fun. It's got to be transparent enough to where salespeople, you have to be comfortable enough saying, hey, I've got 3 deals that are going to close this week or this month or this time period because I've qualified all of them. Here's what I'm waiting on. Sales leaders, you have to be open enough and honest enough with your team to say, team, I need you to tell me where things are underqualified, and I need you to tell me where your gaps are. I can't help be a clearer of obstacles for you if I don't know these things. And please, oh, please don't blindside me in front of the CEO. Don't let them ask you the question about the economic buyer that they frankly already know, and you don't know it, and you try and wiggle around it. Transparency is our key. That will keep us moving forward and fast. Sales pipeline meetings don't have to suck. They don't have to be the Spanish Inquisition. If they are, it's because there's not a lot of trust. When there is a lot of trust, they sound more, hey, how can I help? Ooh, I think I know somebody that might be able to help you. Or, ooh, have you tried this? I've seen this work in this situation. They're collaborative. The goal for great sales pipeline meetings for me is getting the salesperson to lead, to bring and say, hey, exactly what you said, Sean. These 5 deals, good. These 3, I am really struggling to get to the right person or to budget qualify them, or I'm stuck with a non-decision maker, like think enterprise level deals where you're working with engineering, but the CFO is the signer. Engineering can absolutely stop a deal, but legal and procurement are the ones who make it, and it's approved by CFO. So figuring out what we're struggling with is a great way to get help. And when I say help, fast paths to commission. Who wants more? Raise your hand. Thinking about how the tactical things you can do to be ready for a great meeting, start with data and accountability. Follow the process.
Totally agree. And I'm going to build on one thing you said, because I'm just going to clarify what Kevin said at the beginning of when he was talking. He said, don't come to the meeting saying, I need to get a meeting with Larry. What you can say, though, is I am trying to get a meeting with Larry. I've dropped him 3 phone calls, and for some reason, he's not getting back to me. That's okay. I really should be at this point. I really should be talking to Larry, because Larry's the guy who's going to make that decision. But I didn't get it done in time for the meeting, because you knew the meeting was going to happen. Do it 2 days in advance. Make 3 tries in 2 days, and you might get that meeting. And then you say, hey, I got a meeting with Larry. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. Here's the agenda, blah, blah, blah. Once again, you're making the sales meeting much less stressful for you as a salesperson. And you're also, as your sales manager, you're saying, okay, you're going to do Larry. Let me know how that meeting goes. Do you need help? What resources do you need? Do you want me to come along? All those things can happen after you get the meeting with Larry. So just go get it before the meeting starts. Don't realize, oh man, I have my sales meeting here this afternoon and he's going to ask me about this deal. I better get a meeting with Larry. And so I'll write that down as my next step. What Kevin said was correct. I just built on that a little bit. So hope you don't mind, Kevin, for me doing that.
No, that's great. But let's also talk about the scenario, because this happens to every salesperson, especially when CEOs attend meetings. They really want to talk about the biggest deal. They want to update on the biggest deal because it's widely visible. So as sales leaders, we can't let that dominate the meeting. Sales pipeline meetings suck when we dominate one person's deal and everybody's just got to sit there and listen because it's not their deal. So we as sales leaders have to do some preemptive feathering of that nest to say, hey, look, here's what the current stage of that deal, here's our forecast, here's what we know, because the data is up to date in the system. So if you're in this situation now where even a sales leader can do this, sales leader or CEO, somebody's very attuned to, hey, we're behind in revenue and we need the big deal to come through. So what's the status? As a salesperson, we've got to be ready to diffuse that conversation. So let's talk about that, Sean. Let's unpack what are we doing in the system to make sure, the CRM system, to make sure that deal is visible? What are we doing tactically and strategically? Or even worse, what if we don't have a sales strategy for this specific deal? Now, if you were saying, what do you mean sales strategy for a specific deal? And it's a big one. Are we going to be the high touch, high value, price fighter? What is our value add service, high customization? What is our sales strategy for winning the deals? What I'm talking about there. So, Sean, put that one on the top of the tee for you. Take a whack at it.
I'm going to define the big deal first. So what does a big deal mean? So hopefully if the CEO of your company is involved or worried about it, Or maybe it's the executive VP of sales versus your sales manager, your RVP. Maybe it's the vice president of sales versus the RVP of sales. You work for the RVP. Now the VP is checking you in. What moves the needle? First of all, hopefully that deal is a top 10 deal in the company for this period. If it's not, then CEO, stop worrying about any of those other deals. Worry about your top 10. The second thing is when you are working on one of those deals, and let's hope that now we're talking about a little bit earlier in the sales process, we're a little early, you should be doing relationship selling across the board, meaning you should be telling the CEO, hey, Mr. CEO or Miss Founder, you should be talking to this person. I am assigning you, because you work for me today, I am assigning you the job of talking to the global VP of purchasing, because you know that person. I'm assigning you that board member of my client that this deal is going to go to the board, and you have a relationship with somebody who knows somebody that's on the board. And you said you were going to go talk to that person. You make that happen. I call it a relationship map. I am going to map the executive of my company to some executive of the prospect. That's the first thing you have to do. And then you fill it on down the road. You talk to your VP of engineering. That VP of engineering better be talking to somebody on the engineering or the technical side of that company at the level of VP, peer-to-peer, title to title. It's where titles actually matter. CFO. You're going to call up your CFO and have him call up the CFO of the other company. And if he won't do it, say, no, you don't understand, Mr. CFO. You work for me. You are on my team. I'm the quarterback. You are just the right tackle. So go out there and make that block for me. You need to run that sales campaign of that top 10 company deal. You need to run it like you are running a football team, an American football team, 11 players on the field. All 11 have to do a job. They all have to do the job when the ball goes go. As soon as that ball moves, we all got to do our job. We have to execute it flawlessly. If you don't, the quarterback is going to get sacked. If you do execute it, you're going to move it forward. And that's the goal. So take your 11 players, tell them exactly what the play is, tell them exactly what they're expected to do. And that way, when the CEO walks back into your meeting and he wants to talk about the deal, you say, great, how did the meeting go with the board of directors guy that you were supposed to do? Call him to the table and make him do his job. It's his job to help you close that deal. Give him things to do.
Great. So let's boil this down. We got a few minutes left here. So our commitment to you all is to be a free resource that you can digest weekly in 15-minute increments. The reason that works and the reason that adds value is because you face these challenges. Sean just gave a great example of an enterprise level deal. When we're talking about smaller organizations that don't have extensive leadership teams, where we're selling to one founder, a co-founder, or maybe you're in professional services and you're selling to small businesses under $10 million. The question then becomes, what are you doing as a sales leader to not make those sales meetings suck, right? We got to think about, okay, do we have the founders engaged? What is the next meeting and what is the agenda for that meeting? You may not have a board of directors and a CFO. We may have fractional CFOs that aren't in that decision. They're in the guidance business. But what we're thinking about here is, how are we cultivating it? I really like that you said top 10 deals, Sean. What are your top 10 prospects and or targets and or deals as a small sales organization? The secret sauce here is that we've just reduced the cast of characters, the relationships. Instead of 11v11, it might be 3-on-3. You still have the ability to have a peer-to-peer, president-to-president conversation, controller to controller, VP of sales to VP of sales. It's okay, and I'm going to use this term lightly, it's okay to weaponize the team. Another way of saying that is, it's okay to engage your team as a resource to speak peer-to-peer about common problems. When we have a common set of challenges, and a common set of opportunities, and a common set of goals, right? When you have that commonality, you can make an impact and difference that creates differentiation that is not, hey, they're a nickel cheaper per unit versus you. We've got to get the tools and resources we have aligned in a sales meeting to be productive. So if you're a sales leader, trying to make sales pipeline meetings go better, let's just think about the strategies and tactics of making them fun. Get people engaged. You as a sales leader should set the goal, and this is bar none. As a sales leader, for one-to-one meetings with your salespeople, the salesperson should be leading the meeting. So you have to train and teach and coach your team members individually how to lead a sales meeting with you. They should be bringing you challenges that they need your help with. Remember that 3-on-3? You're now one of the 3. If you're a salesperson who's thinking about this, go to Sean's website, go to my website, download our agendas for sales meeting agendas. They're free. We'd love you to have them and use them. Happy to talk to you about them. If you want to know more or think about how to strategically and tactically engage this type of content, join us on the B2B Sales Lab. It's a peer managed community where people like you and like us come to share ideas and get better at our craft. That's our 15 minutes. We're glad you're here. Thanks for listening and happy selling.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Two Tall Guys Talking Sales. If you want to know more about how to improve your sales acumen, if you want to improve your sales performance, if you just want to be better, and if you think you can help others, then consider joining our peer community where we have salespeople, sales leaders, sales managers in a group, helping each other, solving problems, helping each other get more deals, helping each other be more successful in their careers. If you're interested in that, consider taking advantage of our private peer community. Go to b2b-sales-lab.com. Once again, b-sales-lab.com. Look forward to talking to you, and as always, happy selling.
What a fantastic conversation today on Two Tall Guys Talking Sales. I especially enjoyed the deep dive into relationship mapping for top deals, pairing your executives title to title with their counterparts at the prospect's company. It's such a smart, targeted sales strategy because it elevates conversations to the right decision-making level, shortens sales cycles, and builds credibility where it matters most. Sean and Kevin demonstrated that this isn't just for enterprise deals. It can be adapted for smaller teams, too, making it one of those versatile sales processes that works in almost any selling environment. They also gave us a powerful, actionable item, the Help First Pipeline Review framework. By splitting your pipeline into on-track and needs help lists, you focus your meeting time on solving real problems instead of repeating status updates. This one change can immediately improve sales management, boost collaboration, and directly contribute to revenue generation. Don't wait. Put it in play before your next pipeline meeting so you don't lose momentum in the chaos of daily business. If you ever need help with sales strategies, sales management, or simply growing your company, reach out to Sean or Kevin. Their contact information is in the show notes. And remember, you can join the B2B Sales Lab, a peer-driven community for salespeople and sales leaders to get answers, share best practices, and access resources that help you hit your quota. The link to join is also right there in the show notes. We'll be back with another episode next Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Happy selling!